Hey, what's up to everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable Talk, and I'm your host, C Money. And in today's episode, we're going to do a 4 to 5 part series. This is Hotspots in South Florida, and also called History in South Florida. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about two locations that has sort of a history to it. And it's not really history, but it's history to us South Floridians. We are on Bryan Road in Dania Beach. This is Sterling Road and Bryan Road. We are on the Bryan Road, which is on the north side of Sterling Road. And on the south side of Sterling Road, Bryan Road does not continue. It ends at Sterling Road. But on the north side of Sterling Road, you have Dania Beach. On the south side of Sterling Road, you have Hollywood, the city of Hollywood. So we're going to be in two of the areas. We're going to cross here. We are now going to be entering Dania Pointe, the shops at Dania Pointe. I'm going to give you a little information about that, and then we're going to go into it. I'm going to probably stay on this side of the road, and we're going to give you a little information. Dania Pointe was built a few years back, right before the pandemic hit. Dania Pointe was a shopping center that was built. It started construction, I believe, in 2017, and around 2018, maybe 2019, it started, because I know it was open before the pandemic. Now, what is history about Dania Pointe? Well, you see where the construction is at. Basically, we're going to get to it. Hold on. A little further. Basically, Dania Pointe is a mixed multi-shopping and rental and living shopping center. On this side of Dania Pointe, if you from South Florida, this was an open, vacant field, which used to house Santa's, I believe it's called it, if I'm not mistaken, correct me, Santa's Magical Village. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, Santa's Magical Village was Broward County's holiday carnival, equivalent to Miami's Santa's Enchanted Forest. If you've ever been to South Florida, you've been to Santa's Enchanted Forest. It is a holiday carnival that has rides, shows, nativity scenes, Christmas lights and decorations, everything. And Broward had their own, which was Santa's Magical Village. It was housed over here in this big open lot for years. I've never experienced it or been to it, so it was something that was interesting. I'm going to try to get further. I'm going to try to see if I can get further, because if we're coming up to the road, if I'm not mistaken, we're coming up to the road that is going to take us into a little bit of the history. We're going to take a brief pause. We're going to fast forward this, and we'll be back. Okay, fast forward. We're halfway to our turning point. To give you an insight of Dania Beach, Dania Pointe is a mixed multi-property development, that was made because I believe in Dania Beach there isn't a shopping center. You know, Hollywood has several shopping centers and places to go, and you also have several other locations as well. We're gonna turn off here for now. We was gonna go further out, but due to the fact that this is a far out area, we're gonna turn off here. Now, further down, I'm going to give you a little insight of what I'm talking about with history. Further down is, I believe, Dania Beach Boulevard. If you can see further down, there was a truck that just turned the corner. That is basically the entrance to one of the hottest spots that used to be in Dania Beach, called Boomers. If you've seen my video a couple of years back, I did a video of hotspots in South Florida, which is one of my very first few videos of hotspots in South Florida, where we did an episode of hotspots at Dania Beach, at Boomers in Boca Raton, and we talked about the boomers that sat in Dania Beach. My friends, this is the location where Dania Beach, Boomers of Dania Beach was located at, part of it. And also this is the location where the Dania Beach Hurricane was located at. Now I'm going to give you a little information about Dania Beach Hurricane. Dania Beach Hurricane was created in started construction in January of 2000. And in November of 2000, Dania Beach Hurricane opened up. It was to be the only wooden roller coaster, and basically the only roller coaster in South Florida, to be exact. Now, Dania Beach was not operated by Boomers. It was operated by its parent company, but it was on the property of Boomers. So if you wanted to get to Dania Beach Hurricane, you would have to go in through the Boomers location to get it. Boomers had two separate locations on property. It was all one location, but it was separate. You had, back in the early 2000s, Boomer had two areas. They had the game room, which was, they had the game room, fun center, and the food area, which was the main part. They also housed the mini golf, the Dania Beach Hurricane, the mini go-karts, and they also had some amusement rides for you. And then you also had the second area, which was what a actual adult go-karts was. Now, if you've ever seen, I haven't seen a video on YouTube, but I'm quite sure there are videos out there of the go-kart track for Dania Beach Boomers. This was large. If you've seen my video at Boomers Boca Raton, you will know that Dania Beach Boomers was larger. You can only ride them go-karts one time and get a thrill, because the go-karts lasted maybe 10 to 15 minutes on the track, because it was a large go-kart track. And it was one of the best go-kart tracks out there. Now, it is unclear online when Boomers was open, but Dania Beach Hurricane closed around 2011. It was said to be that Dania Beach Hurricane had closed due to the fact that maintenance and upkeep was costly. So they could not keep up with the cost. Of course, it's a wooden roller coaster. And you know, with the climate here in South Florida, with weather and hurricanes and a lot of things that happen, it was hard to keep up with the Dania Beach Hurricane due to it being a wooden roller coaster. Now, if it was a metal roller coaster or something made differently other than wood, of course, the Dania Beach Hurricane probably would have still been existing up until the closure of everything, because Boomers closed in 2016. And the Boomers closed due to, of course, Boomers climb, economy, sales, business is not what it was. But Boomers was popular because it was recorded. There are videos of Dania Beach Hurricane, and there has been reports of weddings being held on the Dania Beach Hurricane. There are reports. I did my research. Now, Boomers, it has been recorded the last day of Boomer's operation in 2016, there was a total wait of 2 hours just to get on the go-karts, meaning that you had to wait at least 2 hours to get on the go-karts. That's how popular this Dania Beach Boomers was. But before it was Boomers, it was called Grand Prix Racerama. I remember I've been there when it was Grand Prix Racerama. The first Boomers, if you've ever saw my show, the first Boomers to ever be created was the one in Boca Raton. A lot of the Boomers that you see now are owned and operated, at one point was owned and operated by Apex Group. At first, Boomers was operated by Palace Entertainment, which is a company that used to own formerly Miami Sequoia, which is one, but Palace Entertainment sold Miami Sequoia, and they sold 6 of their Boomers parks to Apex Group. And Apex Group owned this, the location. Apex Group did not own this location because they bought the Boomers properties after this location closed, because there were several locations that was closed before Apex Group inquired 6 of the Boomers parks. Most of the Boomers parks are in California. This is one of the few that is not in California. And also they have several other locations of businesses as far as water parks and other like go-kart places called Speed Zone. I'm gonna sit down here for a minute. We're gonna do another little mini talk. Also, Boomers, when Apex Group inquired Boomers, they end up also getting Boomers Boca Raton. They end up getting that location as well. So they inquired that. And a few years later, Boomers Apex Group ended up filing for Chapter 11. And so this is a Haagen-Dazs store right here. Hey Haagen-Dazs, I was looking for a water fountain near the restroom, but there isn't a water fountain, so okay, I'll just have to go and purchase a water from the store. Boomers, Apex Group ended up filing for Chapter 11. And they had to rebrand their location and their name and rebrand it to Boomers Parks, you know. And a lot of the Apex Group locations that they had, including they had 2 like theme parks, like one in I think in New Jersey and another location, Indiana Beach, I know is one in Fantasy Island, had to close down, and that was right during the pandemic. And long story short, you know, all of that was said that, you know, due to the pandemic and stuff like that, and cost and everything, Boomers was not making money like they were supposed to make here. And there was already talks in the works of a development of a mixed media development project here, or however you want to call it, and it became a shopping center. Boomers actually closed in 2016. Like I told you, they had a 2-hour wait for go-karts, and then they ended up opening back up as a Dania Pointe sometime before the pandemic. I believe it is 2018 or 2019. I'm not for sure. There is no there's probably information online, but I didn't do my full research. And Boomers here, my last attendance here at this Boomers was with a college friend of mine back in probably 2012 or 2013. I'm not for sure. And you know, we went to Boomers, and it was my last final things. I have a few pictures of myself, you know, getting off one of the rides, and you know, I did one a little mixtape that, you know, because they had one of them little karaoke CD making machines that you can make your own CD or whatever with music and stuff. So I did one of them. But it basically, that was my last time here, and then it closed, and it was like a child favorite. Dania Beach Hurricane closed a couple of years before that in 2011, like I said, due to it's not having, a lot of, because of the weather and, a lot of time, they can't, keep up with the upkeeps of maintenance and stuff because, as years and years go by, maintenance and, upkeeps of things, the prices go up and the cost of living and the cost of maintenance and upkeeps keep going up. That's why the cost of living keeps going up. So they eventually closed it and they was to sell off some of the parts. What ended up coming here is nothing from Dania Beach Hurricane and nothing from Boomers has been salvaged here. Now, in the next segment of our next location that we're going to, is going to backtrack to here for Boomers. But there is a bowling alley here called Bolero. If you looked at my previous video, there is a Bolero at Dolphin Mall. The difference between this Bolero and that Bolero is something different. We're going to go take a walk to the Bolero. Because this Bolero has an arcade area where you can go play video games and stuff like that. And I've been to this one because I have my brother and his family stays less than 5 minutes away from this location, which is a good thing. This is why I visited there. And at this location, this Bolero, they have an arcade area where you can play video games and stuff like that. The one at Dolphin Mall does not have an arcade. They have laser tag. This one does not have laser tag, and we're gonna walk right there because it's just right up here. Now, right up here. As you can see, that's where you see a bowl. That's Bolero. Now, honestly, I cannot give you a pinpoint, or I don't believe I can go to the area where, oh, and look, this says right here, future home of Putt Shack. If you ever known Putt Shack, I haven't been to Putt Shack yet, but they have one down in Miami at Brickell City Center, which is another episode I'll probably do in the near future. Putt Shack is a mini golfing restaurant where you can eat, drink, and you can do mini golf. And this is the future home of Putt Shack. And this is Bolero. And there's another bar. There's a restaurant called Ocean One. This is a restaurant that my brother and his family likes to go to a lot. They have like specials and this kind of stuff. It's next to the Bolero. This Bolero doesn't have, they don't have without laser tag, but they do have arcades. And the one at Dolphin Mall has laser tag but don't have arcade. This is the box office, so this must be performing arts. Here, oh, Dania Beach Improv. Oh, okay. And this is a steakhouse. Also, that sits over here. I'm gonna see if I can get a closer look. There is a new movie theater. Now, this movie theater is owned by Regal Cinemas, and it's funny that Regal Cinema built a movie theater here because less than a mile away there is another Regal Cinema, and we will probably be seeing that in our next video that we'll be coming up to. Now, the movie theater now in this area is where Dania Beach Boomers sit. Because if you remember, if you've ever been to South Florida, if you take a visit down I-95, you can see the Dania Beach Hurricane from I-95. And Dania Beach Hurricane made Boomers more of a South Florida attraction because it brought more people to Boomers. Because Boomers, like I said, did not own Dania Beach, but did not own Dania Beach Hurricane, but they ended up having it on their property, which made more revenue and business for Boomers because you had to get through Boomers to go to Dania Beach. And you see, this is the future home of Putt Shack. So with that in mind, that's what ended up happening. But Dania Beach Hurricane ended up closing a couple of years before Boomers. And eventually Dania Beach Hurricane was going to close because of the simple fact that they sold off this property to build a multi-million-dollar complex, which is called Dania Pointe. the shops of Dania Pointe. Now, to the notion of it, also at Dania, at Boomers, there was a submarine that was housed here at Boomers. The submarine belonged to, it actually belonged to, I'm sorry, the submarine was here at Dania Beach, at Boomers, Boomers. And it was a former submarine that was housed at Six Flags Atlantis, which we will talk about in our next episode. That will be in a little bit in our next episode of our theme, because it was part of Six Flags Atlantis. And of course, the submarine is probably now demolished, or somebody bought it off for memorabilia, because it was a memorabilia of Six Flags Atlantis, and then it got auctioned. Then it got placed at Boomers, which was the premier spot for Dania Beach. Boomers and Dania Beach Hurricane was the attraction to get people to come more to South Florida and to visit Dania Beach, because Dania Beach really was a city that really didn't have much attraction to it. So now Dania Beach has Dania Pointe, the shops at Dania Pointe, and they have all these shops and stuff. I visited the Hobby Lobby here. I've been to the Lime Fresh Grill that's here. I've been to the Bolero and the Ocean One restaurant. I've been to them, but as far as like a lot of the other stores, they have a Brand Smart. They have several other restaurants, Tommy Bahama's clothing store. They have a lot of shops here. But, I've very visited any of these shops because of the fact that, I don't live in Dania. And majority of the times when I'm here, I'm normally visiting my family, my brother and his family here. So, basically. And I always wanted to do an episode here because I say this is history that no one really talks about. There are videos of the Dania Beach Hurricane being torn down on YouTube. If you look them up, I've seen them. And there's also been videos of people riding the Dania Beach Hurricane. Now, videos of Boomers, I have not seen them surfaced online, but if you do know any videos, please share the link to us. We will greatly appreciate it. But I have not seen any videos that have surfaced online with Boomers of Dania Beach, because I have not really seen videos surfaced of Boomers of Boca Raton either, but there's videos of Boomers online, but not of the Dania Beach old location, and not basically of the Boca Raton location. So this is basically like, okay, so we're gonna walk back on North Point Drive and Point Boulevard. Like a lot of these, places, are places that wanted to get into the mixed development and want to be a part of the mixed development. So, you get into the point where, okay, this is, you see you have a Foot Locker close by. This is Anthropology. There's a lot of mixed stores here. Avery, Dania Pointe. There's a lot of apartments. There's a lot of no business here. Let's go here. This looks like it's a restroom. I don't need to use restroom. I just want to go inside. So we're basically Dania Pointe is basically a shopping center for people who live in Dania Beach. Even though across the street there's another shopping center there, oh, there's water fountain. A lot of people have more of a shopping experience here. One second, y'all. Okay. Now we're gonna go back out as you can see, it's hot outside. So, and I had a Gatorade earlier, but I drank it before I got here. So, I try to stay hydrated when I go to these, do these shows and stuff. So, in the midst, because, I never told you I do get heat sickness, which is also called heat strokes. When you get hot at a certain temperature, you start feeling dizzy, and then you feel like you want to pass out. So, that's one of the things I try to do. I try to stay hydrated, even though it doesn't hit me all the time, but it can hit me at any given time. Like right now, I don't feel nothing, and it is hot. It's crazy out here, but it can hit me where it's not too hot, but my body temperature is rising, and I pass out or whatever, and I have to stay cool. Like it'll hit me at the worst time. You would think right now, you'll try to feel like, oh, you can get heat sickness, and pass out, but no. So, pinpoint, I honestly can't tell you the location of where the Dania Beach hurricane was and where Dania Beach Boomers was located at, because as they built this mixed development, it is hard to find out which is where and where is what. That's why I tried to find the road that led up to Dania Beach Boomers, but there's a lot more construction they're doing because they're building more apartments and condos and everything here. So it's hard. This is Foot Locker right here, so it's hard to figure out everything, So I was like, wow, like this is the Salon Bar. It's a lot of things here. Coming up is Lime Fresh Grill, and I've visited there. Hobby Lobby is over there. You probably can't see it from here, but I visited there. Ulta Beauty is here. BurgerFi, there's a lot of things that's here. So you look at these things and you figure out this is where your Dania Beach Boomers and your Dania Beach Hurricane resided, Well, right over here, I think is where the go-kart used to be at, because I remember across the hall there was across the way from 95, there was like a little shopping plaza or whatever. So this is probably where your go-karts was at. But you have to realize, not everything lasts long, because a lot of these a lot of these fun centers and a lot of these places that was family, like fun centers, malls, shopping centers. A lot of these places get closed down and redeveloped into multimedia, into multi-mixed use development, into shopping malls, to shopping centers, into shopping centers with condos. If you know about Brightline, this is Lime Fresh Mexican Grill. I've eaten here before. I've actually eaten outside here with my family. There's a TJ Maxx, there's a Shoe Carnival, there's a Hilton here, there's a couple of Hiltons and a couple of hotels here, mixed use. Like I said, a lot of these places, a lot of these old businesses from the 90s and the early 2000s get shut down and get sold off to build big multi-mixed developments like Boomers and Dania Beach. There was an empty field next to Boomers and Dania Beach, and that got sold, and then Boomers of Dania Beach got sold off, and it became Dania Pointe, a multi-mixed development where you can shop, live, and work. Because a lot of these new shopping malls and shopping centers are being also just not turned into shopping centers. They're also building apartments and condos and hotels around these places. That is the new thing of now. You're now getting a lot of these shopping centers being developed with hotels and condos built either in them or around them, which is the same here, because you got a lot of hotels, and then now you have condos and more condos and apartments being built in the same area. Wow, we didn't have to do another episode because I thought we was gonna have to do a two-part episode of Dania Beach, of Dania Pointe, but we didn't have to do a two-part episode of Dania Pointe. Oh, this is Panda Express. Oh, I have some Panda Express at home, and when I get home, I'm going to eat it This is the Hyatt House, the Hyatt Place at Dania Pointe. That's another hotel, a couple of hotels that was built here. This is nice. It's saddened that one of my early adulthood, because I never went to Boomers in Dania Beach as a child. I frequently visit as an adult. But it was sad to see that one of my old favorite hotspots have gone. If you have any memories of Dania Beach Boomers and Dania Beach Hurricanes, even if you have videos or also photos, let us know. You can comment at the bottom of this page. Also email roundtable00@yahoo.com. We would like to hear from you because there's not many videos and photos of the Boomers in Dania Beach. There's videos of the Dania Beach Hurricane, but there's not many videos of Dania Beach Boomers. So go ahead. I would like to she's taking out support time. This Burger King been here. It was here way when Boomers was here. And a lot of these shops. There's a Chipotle that sits in the shopping plaza. I remember that. And the last time I was at the Chipotle's, probably around the time that Boomers was open and visiting. So, all right. This is Dania Pointe, formerly known as Dania Beach Hurricane and the Dania Beach Boomers. This is the Roundtable Talk. We are now going into our second segment of the Roundtable Talk. And I will see you in a little bit, and I will see you across the street. Roundtable Talk.